Well, hello everybody. This is your girl Erica from the Classy Crime blog. We're doing a Tech Tuesday on a Wednesday. And I've got some esteemed guests here. We're going to talk about how to get up to $255,000 a year with data science and lifting the veil IT Academy. Before we get started, I wanted to be very clear out there. People are nervous about the market and things moving around. I just posted a couple days ago where Morgan Stanley and a couple other companies basically told all their IT people, Subzero, that they have to give them a 6-month notice before they can leave them. And I said, have you ever heard of that? I said, that's how short we are in the tech and the STEM markets, that you have to literally, the companies are begging you, please don't leave. And if you do leave, give me a 6 months heads up so I can find somebody to replace you. That's how popular, and I bring that up to tell you guys, think about it. That's how you want to go into a job market where they're like, we can't afford to let you go. We need you to stay. What can we do in the 6 months to convince you to stay in this position? That's the kind of companies you want to be working for. And those are the type of jobs you want to be fighting for. And so I brought on Mr. Subzero 3639 Live and his teacher, Mr. Javon. And so introduce yourself to the audience, Subzero. Give them a little run back of how you got in tech.
Okay, guys. First of all, I am Sub-Zero 3639. I'm the founder of Lifting the Veil IT Academy. Went to Tuskegee University, played basketball, played overseas, played. I modeled. I did a lot of different things in my life. Owned a comedy club, promoted concerts. I was also a full-time real estate investor for about 5-6 years. Then '08 happened and ruined my millionaire plan. I was almost there, and then it just all fell apart. But at any rate, we're here today, guys, and I'm just wanting to bring up the data science class. I've been teaching for about 5 years. God has really honored this thing. It's a seed that I planted and just trusted him in faith that he would, bless this. And he's been doing just that, man. I mean, people are getting jobs. I'm super excited. I've been able to really help people and change people's lives. And I've been getting testimonial after testimonial from different individuals telling me and explaining to me how they're able to, make 6 figures with their career. And I just got a testimonial last weekend on a guy. He was just telling me how he got job. I got the audio of it emailed to myself. And it was just a way for me to feel good, because I'm not used to, I don't say I'm not used to, I just don't, what I'm saying? It's been a while since I had anything that really was successful. And I see God has really been blessing this movement. And it's really kind of grown past myself. A lot of the students have come in and really started to being, I guess, their own leaders and asserting themselves and helping each other. And so it's really just an environment, or should I say a platform. We started with data analytics in January. We did Salesforce. Now we're moving on to data science. Data science, just so you know, is the highest paying field there is, right, in IT that I've seen. You have other fields. I'm sure somebody would probably take difference to that. But depending on which article you read, data science is at least in the top 3, pretty much. In almost every list you see, data science is up there. And the way it works is, the reason I titled the job like I did, titled the video, or asked her to title it like I did, was because, yes, you're not going to make $250,000 your first job. I highly doubt that. If you come from Lifting the Veil, that's not what we're saying. But what you could do, and I tell my students to do this, and a few of them already done this, and they're making over $200,000. What they're doing is they get a job, they work for a few months, and then once they understand and they're competent and they know, okay, I only have 2 meetings a day, one at 9:30 in the morning, and the other one's at like 4:30. We do a little wrap up meeting. Well, then you say, okay, well, I got this other job I interviewed for. They saying they want me to meet at 10:30, and that'll be the whole one little 30-minute scrum meeting a day. I had one job where we would have one scrum meeting a week, once every 2 weeks, and the rest of the week we didn't even talk. We just chatted. So that's how these jobs are. So, and these are 6 figures. I'm talking about 130, 140 per job. And so what we've been able to do is we've been able to stack those positions, because a lot of times in IT, the whole thing is, look, man, we just want to assign you some tickets and you need to complete them. Some people are fast, some people are slow. So it's nothing for you to go throughout a day and work 2 jobs. I've done that. I've actually had up to 3 jobs before. I had to let it go. The one of them just got too demanding. I just let it go. 2 jobs I can do with. I've had that. I've had 2 jobs about 4 or 5 times. It's very comfortable. It's not a stressful situation. But even if you just want one, you're talking 130, 140, 100. That's what we get. That's what our students get. The rates are going up because of inflation, and a lot of the stuff that you hear from people are, oh, well, yeah, but I'm seeing 95. Well, yeah, but inflation is going up now, specifically when you're talking about contracts. Full-time people are still trying to pay, 100, 105, 110. But when you're talking contracts, you're talking $65, $70 easy. And that's just for what I do. But data science is not that many people with this skill set. And so the amount of funds and money that's out there is just crazy. And so what I did was I met this brother right here, Javon. Javon is a very intelligent brother, smart, high IQ brother who I've met. We've talked extensively offline about different things. He's excited about teaching. He really wants to give back to the community. And that's part of what we do as well. We give back to the community by basically changing lives. That's what I want to do. If you're listening to this and you're not clearing at least $2,000 a week, then you need to listen, because this getting $2,000 a week is standard in IT. That's not even hard to do. That's $50 an hour. That's not that difficult. And so we do that. We operate in the old quote unquote impossible. That's the new motto I'm coming up with. We operate in the impossible because people say, man, you're not gonna make no 6 figures, you're not gonna make this, you're not gonna make that. Well, actually you can. And we've been able to really, make inroads into this 6-figure plateau, and we're pushing even higher. And a lot of people will be like, well, I don't want a job because I want to have my own business. Well, guess what? You need tax returns. You need check stubs. Exactly. Unless you're gonna like bootstrap your business, which I'm all for. If you can bootstrap, then fine. But if you want a business, you want to comfortably look. I ran a comedy club. Let me explain something to you. If I'd have had the skill set I have now, that comedy club would have went way different than it did. Right? To me, back then, $1,500 was a lot of money. That I was like, man, I'm gonna have to, man, And it was after the housing bubble. I didn't have no money. And so I was stuck. But if I was in IT, I could have just, okay, here goes $1,500 to keep the business going, because it was, we didn't last but like 6 months, because it was hard. I had a lease, I had customers, I had marketing, I had employees stealing. So if you want to run a business, if you want to run a business on the side, it's always good to have a 6-figure income. Live on less than you make, operate with discipline. We have people that come in and talk to people about setting up corporations and different stuff like that. And so these people are able to come in and really put themselves in charge. And, and then they start taking these contracts and bids. And with those corporations, you can start going after government contracts. You can work as a corp to corp, and you can get a lot of money that way. So we have Javon. Javon's going to really change the game for Lifting the Veil. I'm really excited about having him on board to be able to help as a partner. Me and him have partnered together to really try to get this thing going. So, guys, I want to introduce to you Javon. What's up? What's up, Javon?
Hello, Javon. Introduce yourself to the audience. Tell us how you got here.
Can everyone hear me?
You gotta drop a one in the comments if you can hear him, but I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay, perfect. So, hello, everyone. My name is Javon Swint. Just a quick background about me. My grandparents were in the gas station business in the 50s. Fast forward to 2009, we got into real estate. At the time, once the housing market crashed, we got into the commercial aspect of it, buying and selling industrial warehouse buildings. But I had always been a programmer pretty much my whole life, ever since high school. So long story short, 2020 in the pandemic, I was invited to Washington, D.C. To talk with a few government agencies on just programming opportunities. So they brought me on board, to help them out, with specific things that they needed to do. And when I tell you guys, tech has changed my life. I do believe tech is a economic freedom just for people of color. And, just being a data scientist, I mean, most people think, getting into the tech industry is, challenging and all this other stuff. Back in the day, you had to use math and all these other, complicated, calculus statistic methods back in the day for data science. Now in today's time, they have all these tools and technologies that just come on the standard computer. You don't have to have, you don't have to know all the mathematics involved just because the tools that you use actually get the job done. So I like to look at data sciences is just, like a detective looking for clues and answers in a large pile of information. So all you're doing is basically taking a large data set and making it readable visually. And that's pretty simple. Like I said, they have the tools available to communicate this to the social media marketplace. So, back in the day, if you wanted to be a celebrity, you had to go to a talent agency. You had to, sing, dance, or act. You had to do something really cool. You had to pay all this money to be advertised, and then you would hope, you would get on runway or somewhere big in New York. Nowadays, you can just take out your cell phone, go on Instagram, and be famous there. So kind of like how the concept with Instagram, how you can just do everything from your phone versus back then, how you have to actually go here and there. It's the same thing with data scientists. So that's the reason why it's easier to get into. And you do see these tech layoffs. Now, I want you to understand the word tech is very broad. Um, a lot of these layoffs that they're laying off are really a lot of old positions that are just outdated and the company just really don't need. They don't finish the assignment already. So the new positions that they're looking for are a lot in the data science, because if you're a data scientist, that is the prerequisite for like machine learning and artificial intelligence. So with all this, chat GPT and all these AI technology, when you learn data science, they're going to hire you to put the data set into the AI machine. So there's people who work for chat GPT that are putting the information for the public to use chat GPT. So I kind of want everybody to understand 6 figures is really not a lot of money. It's a lot of money to a lot of communities, but there's corporations making billions yearly. So paying an employee 6 figures is really nothing to them when they're seeing billions yearly. So I want to even compare this to, like, even if you're a blue collar person, the reason back then why blue collar was more valuable because they needed more physical labor, and physical labor only pays so much. I don't care if you're a union worker. Well, union people get paid pretty well, but I don't care if you're in the union or anything like that. A lot of the physical labor is done. They just need someone to click and finish the assignment. Now, here's the thing. You don't need to be a Mark Zuckerberg data scientist. You just need to be employable. You just need to know the basic skill sets, the very basics, because a job is going to train you on what they want. Even if you come in at the job as an expert, they're going to say, well, we want it done this way. And the person that's telling you what to do may not even know data science. So that's the reason why it's realistic. Is it just because we're in this economic situation where the world is changing and it's just a high demand for certain skill sets. And if you just learn enough to be employable, the job will take over and train you for 6 weeks before they even put you on the front end with people. So that's why it's realistic. If you talk to people, your friends or anybody, they're going to tell you it's not realistic because they probably are not in that field. Or even if they are in that field, they probably, been in, 20 years ago and have to go the old school route to learn everything. But this day and age, guys, just telling you, for somebody who does not, I don't have a college degree. I don't have, no disrespect to people who have degrees, because you're the real champions. But all I did was learn enough to be employable. I was likable to people, and people just told me what they needed done, and I just got the job done.
Man, can you guys drop a 2 in the comments? Because that was amazing. I love your little story, your history. Let me even phrase that. I love your story, not your little story, your big story. Because so many times people are like, oh man, these people out here lying about 6 figures. There's no way they're paying people in tech like this. You got to have years and years of experience and 27 degrees. Listen, every day I challenge y'all to go on Indeed.com and look. There's news articles where the girls working for a company realize they post a job, Javon, and they were paying $32,000 more to the next person coming in. And you know what she did? She applied for the job online.
Yeah,
She's trying to be funny. And I don't think people understand that you make your big pay raises when you leave companies. When you go to the next company, you get that extra 10, 15K on top. I've got a friend who worked at Dell for almost 20 years, and they were trying to move him laterally. He's like, well, where am I getting my $10,000 bump? They're like, oh, you're not going to get it because you're moving laterally. He's like, well, I want it in. So it's one of those things where you get your pay raise when you leave. These aren't things that are these are things that are documented. Like I literally can sit here for an hour and go on Indeed job post after job post where they're saying 100 to 124,000.
Ericka, let me add one thing. I'm gonna add one thing. When my first job was $35 an hour, right? I jumped. We're in a matter of I'd say 2 years. I finally hit 6 figures, and I was making over $50. I was hovering in the 40s for 45, 42. I started with like a little 2.5 month project. I did a lot of projects. I didn't take full-time jobs. I did a lot of projects. And by the time I got to my second, third year, I was making 100, and then I never looked back. And I'm gonna tell you, as far as this whole prerequisite and what it takes to get into IT, it depends on who you ask. And I do believe there's a certain, specifically African Americans, I think there's a certain stigma that they don't want to see you come through high school not having worked as hard as they did, right? You didn't have to go and do the things I did, and you're making more than me, or you're alongside me, right? I'm making 220, but I went to
fix your audio. Fix your audio.
I did that. It took me years.
So
you're jumping in a matter of.
So can you hear us?
Yeah, you hear me?
Turn your audio up. There you go. There you go. You're back. Say it again.
Yeah, I was saying you're jumping into IT in a matter of weeks or sometimes months, and you're able to really get up and make a substantial salary. They don't like that, and they want to stop that by telling you, oh, it's not possible. When I first started this academy, one of my coworkers at a project I was on, African-American guy, told me, man, it's not going to work. You can't teach people this quick. You can't do this. You can't do that. It can't. Let me explain something to you. 100 years ago, we didn't have these problems. You know why? Because there was something called apprenticeship, where you wouldn't go to college. You go to like 6th grade, then you become an apprentice, right? And you will learn your skill. And by the time you 15, 16 years old, you know what you're doing. So it doesn't take what we think. Like if I sit and watch anybody, you could be a complex Wall Street investor. If I sit and look over your shoulder for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I ask you a couple of questions, I can go and halfway simulate what you're doing. I'm not saying I'll be the best at it, but I can simulate 5 or 6 months. The more time you get around that person, the more questions you get to ask, the more in depth you can be. A lot of people in IT don't want people to do that. They want you to go the long way, get a degree, go and pay thousands, go pay $30,000 for some 9-month course at some college or university, and they give you a certificate, right? It's going to take you years. I had a guy tell me it's going to take 9 months to a year to do data science. There was a brother in the comments just a second ago say his wife in 16 weeks took data science, and she's making real good money right there in Dallas. So who's telling the truth? This guy told me those 4-week courses don't work. That's what he told me. Well, obviously they do, because you already got somebody that's done it. Now, we've created over $6 million in annual salaries for our students. I'm proud of that. And we're out here doing what we got to do. We're on the cutting edge. And that's where we are.
I love it. I love it. Meg, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Says, how would I go around?
Ericka, I'm gonna have to go out and come back in. That phone call messed me up. I'm gonna have to come back. Okay. I'm gonna go out. All right.
No worries. Javon, I still got you. You still here, Javon?
Yes.
Okay. So, Meg, I don't know how else to say that. Right? How would you go around getting a job without a computer science degree? And I think you did a good job, but just retouch on it for us.
Yeah. Okay. So here at Lifting the Veil, we have classes that help you get your Microsoft DP 100 certificate. So all the stuff we're doing is under Microsoft as far as for the DP 100. And basically, we pretty much train you and put you involved and get you as a certification. And once you have that certification, that's basically the route that you go to, that you actually do without having a computer science degree. Just because if you look at a lot of these jobs now, they're only just looking for a certification. And then a lot of times during the interview, they're just going to ask you specific questions because they're just looking for somebody who can follow basic instructions and who just knows the basics. So the certification is a better route, in my opinion. I mean, I went the certification route, and that's what here at Lift in the Veil, we pretty much get you prepared for the certification, and then we also show you how to get the job. It's an art to getting a job. Like it's how you network, who you communicate with. Long story short, when I was out just looking for tech jobs, I would go to job meetups. So like I live in Atlanta, and so in Atlanta, we had a meetup in Midtown, and Amazon was there. Amazon was like, "Hey, we need somebody that knows data science," and the hiring manager is right there. So it's a lot about networking and knowing how to do the interview correctly. Because sometimes, they do a lot of interviews and they're just looking for someone that can stand out. Stand out means they're just looking for someone they can like personally. They can like your personality. Even if you're not even that personable, they're just looking for somebody that they can like and be personable with. So you having a certification plus going to different job meetups, that actually, and knowing how to, conduct your mannerisms and yourself through the interview, that's how you get the job. You're not really just going to get a job of having a certification and sending your resume out to people, and then people say, okay, now you're hired. I mean, you will get a lot of people inquiring and people calling you back and wanting to do, but the art of a job itself is really just networking and finding those recruiters, finding those different job meetups that allow you just to express your basic skill set, because a lot of these tech jobs, they're looking for entry level positions. They're not looking for, senior level. They're not looking for those positions because their hopes are to train you to become senior. So if you work for Microsoft, most people, you get you a Microsoft certification, it's easy to get a job at Microsoft with a Microsoft certification. And so those are, if you team up with people who work at Microsoft, or if you go to Microsoft, virtual events, or if you go to Microsoft physical events, I mean, there you go. You got a chance to introduce yourself, speak to those people, and make friends with different people. And that's how you really get on board. That's how you keep those opportunities coming. Because even if you have a job, you want recruiters and jobs to still keep calling you, still trying to hire you. You always want to have too many requests. And it's just, if you got the basics, you're already ahead of the schedule. So yeah, so that's how you would go. That's how you would get a job without a computer science degree. Is you just get a certification and find physical meetups you can go to, physical job meetups that you can go to in your area or virtually online, and just introduce yourself and start connecting with people in those fields. And man, you'll just be surprised talking to somebody. Somebody will say, "Well, hey, we're hiring. Can I see your application? We looking for someone entry level." And the reason why they want entry level, they're not trying to pay somebody $300, $400, $500 when they can just take an entry level person who just knows the basics, and then they'll take the training and information from there.
Really, thank you for that. That's really spot on. Really, a lot of times it's in our head, right? It's a confidence issue. I remember I got an interview one time, and this guy was like, "Man, you interview well." And I was like, "What does that mean?" He's like, "You probably can go work anywhere. You're personable, you talk, you're friendly. Somebody would be willing to train you on whatever job you're trying to do." And
You know what?
Go ahead,
Ericka. I'm sorry.
So I always want to tell people, working on your interview skills is probably one of the best things you can do, because people ask me, well, what's the quickest way to make a lot of money? It's going to be, for a lot of you, having a high income job that you can pull excess resources from to invest in. That's for a lot of you. Mm-hmm. And so when people say, well, what are the specific type jobs? You guys don't understand. There's over like thousands. There's like 5,000 to 10,000 small businesses all over this country that have 100, maybe 200 employees that are paying these huge salaries because of what they particularly provide for the marketplace. So I know a lot of times people say, well, which ones, which company? There's countless companies, right, that are going to train you and go to pull in entry level people. So go ahead, Doug, what we're trying to say.
Also, you have to think about it when you say entry level, or not just entry level, when you're talking about working, because most of my students don't even get entry level jobs. Most of them get senior level jobs, truth be told. But the thing is, what you got to look at is when you're going out there in the workspace, don't think of, because people that sit out of tech, when we think of tech, we think of Silicon Valley, we think of Facebook, Twitter. That's who you think of, right? You don't think of Hooters as a tech company, right? You don't think of Waffle House as a tech company, Racetrack, Best Buy as a tech company, but they have tech jobs. Everywhere there's data, there's probably somebody watching. If it's a large scale amount of data, Lowe's, Home Depot, a grocery store. I used to work for Winn-Dixie, which is a grocery chain out of Jacksonville, Florida. They needed database people. They needed Oracle. I used to go in there and apply. Back then, I didn't have any experience. I didn't know what to do. But that's what I'm talking about. You don't have a lot of people that understand that. A lot of times when we're sitting out and we see an article or a news story, oh, well, they laid off 10,000 employees at so-and-so. First of all, those are people that work in call centers, 90% of them. And a lot of times, just because some like Twitter or somebody laid some people off, we assume that means everybody in tech is hurting. That's a gross misunderstanding of it. Like if you look at tech, I would consider Silicon Valley like 1% of the entire tech space. That's how big I think tech is in America. You could go to Selma, Alabama. There are tech jobs in little old Selma. There are tech jobs in Dothan, Alabama. I'm from Alabama, right? There are tech jobs in the smallest city. If you see a factory and you go in that corporate office, there's somebody, probably Indian or Asian, sitting in front of a computer. Best believe they're handling the data. How do I know this? Because I've been in tech, and whenever there's a job that comes available anywhere near metropolitan Montgomery, Alabama, like if it's, Fort Rucker, anywhere where it's not that far of a drive, people call me because they want people from within that region. So it's not always that you got to live in a major tech hub, right? You can live, first of all, you can live anywhere. You can live overseas. All these passport bros. You want to be a passport bro. You want to make 90,000 in a foreign country. What do you think 90,000 to do in a country where the dollar's worth 30 of theirs? How far could you go? Right? What could you own? What could you live? What type of lifestyle could you live? Right? These are things that, I try to tell my students, and I don't want you guys to get caught up into what the myths are, like, oh, well, you got to have this to get it. Takes so many years and you got to climb it. No, you don't. You can get to 100,000 easy. You can. Now, getting to 200, there's some things you have to do, right? But where do you start, right? The floor for my students is $80,000, $90,000. That's usually the lowest I see them get. Now, I've had a few that get, like, I got one guy that got 65 one time, but he got it for experience. Other than that, every other job is 85, 90, 100,000 or more. So what we want to do is we want to put you in a space to win. Also, let me say this about interviewing. At Lifting the Veil, I say this every time I come on Ericka's channel. At Lifting the Veil, we don't believe in playing fair. We don't play fair, which means we're going to sit and listen to real world interviews from real companies by my students. Every time you as a student go on an interview, I'm going to tell you to record it. We're going to come back to class. We're going to review it. If you messed up, I'm going to explain to you why you messed up. You probably shouldn't have said this. You probably shouldn't have said that. This is not how you do this. This is not how you do that. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. But see, a lot of times I can give you the head knowledge. And see, this is where what separates Lifting the Veil from a lot of other companies. Yeah, you could go and get somebody to teach you how to pass a certification exam and go out and look for a job. And you might even get interviews. But who's going to sit there? Show me where you can go get a guy with 10, 15 years experience to sit down, listen to your interview, and tell you where you messed up. That guy's going to get so much. And I really think that's the key to success of my academy, is that the students, we give them everything, the nurturing environment that they need to really cross over these boundaries. They're so scared of math. And I'm going to let Jovan actually deal with the math question, right? Because everybody, oh, well, you got to know calculus and trigonometry. No, you don't. No, you don't. Technology's gotten so advanced, you don't need to be some math whiz. The thing was, when technology first started, you had these punch cards that you would slide into this big computer that would take like 45 minutes to solve some little small equation that now a computer can solve with your cell phone. Back then, you needed to know math because you had to know how to do computations and like you're doing Fortran and different things. Nowadays, the computer languages are 30, 40 generations better. So now you just go in and look at Chat GPT, for example. Look at how advanced that is. You know what I'm saying? So the computers now, if they can do that, they definitely can help us know math equations quickly. So you can get the answer. You just plug in your data and get back your answer and keep working. But what we do at Lifting the Veil is what we do is we try to make sure we prepare you by giving you the interviews, we give you the confidence, and we, of course, we help you with your resume. We do the small things that specifically African Americans need. There's a shortage of us, and I've chosen to go after African Americans. There's a shortage of us. Everywhere I go is Asians and Indians. If I ask Javon the same thing, I don't have to guess. Everywhere he's worked pretty much his whole career, he's seen nothing but Asians and Indians most of the time. And if you see somebody with black skin and kinky hair, they're probably African or from the Caribbean. African Americans are not, we're just not in these spaces. So when you look at our economy and look at where we are and look at this income gap, see the wealth gap, in my personal opinion, this is just my personal opinion. The wealth gap is only indicative of the lack of income gap first, because if you get somebody making two people making $100,000, their kids are probably going to go to good schools. They're going to probably wind up like my son's at a private school, right? I was at a public school. I was a terrible student. He's a great student. I'm spending the money so he can be the best he can be, right? By the time he gets to the 12th grade, he'll have more options, more opportunity. That's how you close the wealth gap, right? As a dad, I'm putting money aside every month for him so that when he turns 30, he'll be a millionaire. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not even worried about, paying for college, because, if he goes to college, fine. College has turned into an indoctrination center anyway, but that's the point I'm trying to make, is you can change your situation in one generation with a good income. Like Dave Ramsey says, your income is your greatest wealth building tool. And if you don't have your income together, look, making 40,000, you can be disciplined, but come on, man, these rents and utilities and inflation. You've been to the grocery store lately? They just look at this. You gotta make 100,000. That's why I said, if you're not making six figures, you need to probably give us a call. The consultation is free. You can schedule a free consultation, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
And the website is www.ltvacademy.com. I'm gonna put it in the chat, and I'm gonna put my phone number if you want to call me.
Yeah, just want to piggyback as well. See about the technology. Back in the day, if you wanted to go meet people, you had to stand outside. You had to go walk outside and go look for somebody. And you had to go in areas where you saw social people. Nowadays, if you want to meet someone now, you can just hop on your phone. So how that technological difference happened from physically having to go into the public to now doing everything on your phone, or like Microsoft Word. Back in the day, you really had to physically handwrite everything. Now you can just type stuff on the computer. So that's just like the difference that we're in. And like he was saying with the wealth gap, it's really just going to be a lack of information. Because I'm going to be honest with you, it's hard getting a job paying $20 physical labor. I mean, you got to be a mechatronics engineer. I mean, it's hard trying to get a physical labor job that's going to pay, $20. But a tech job pay you, 100. So like I got just another offer. Yesterday, Pep Boys called me. I ain't never think about Pep Boys being a tech company, but they just need someone to take all their customer data and put it in the table that they can read. So a lot of and thanks to Microsoft, with these new computers, or just, you got a computer past 2005, they didn't put all these new technologies on there where it's like PowerPoint. It's like using PowerPoint. It's like using Word. It's like using Excel. It's just Microsoft and Apple, they just call them different names now. You may use another program for your data integration. So that's the only reason why it's possible. It's just because technology is making it easy. So like I said, the same thing with social media. If you all can use Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and you know how to find somebody or influencer you're looking for, if you just know how to find someone using social media, that's data science. Taking a large amount of information, looking through the keywords and phrases, which are hashtags, clicking the select hashtags and finding what you're looking for. So if you can use social media, then you got basically the basics to doing to becoming a data scientist. Now here's the thing. You don't have to like tech. You don't have to say, well, I'm not really passionate. In the correct way of saying, sometimes your passion can leave you broke if you don't structure yourself correctly. I learned this, I forgot who told me this, but your job is your silent business partner. You know, a lot of you guys got private ambitions. You know, you got goals and dreams. You know, you want to do a hair salon, you want to do a salon, and you short, you know, $10,000-$20,000, and you don't have a business partner. But if you got a high-paying job, your job is your business partner. And man, when I found out, because I wasn't a job person, I was like, I ain't getting no job. You know, I'm a entrepreneur all the way out. I'm a grind it out, do what I got to do. But grinding means to wear down to no further use. And in our community, we love using these, you know, words like grinding and getting it out the mud. I don't want to get nothing out the mud. I ain't trying to grind either. If you look at what those definitions mean, nothing good comes from it. So when I realized that my job was my silent business partner, I ain't have to argue with nobody. I ain't have to go back and forth with disagreeing. It was, I got paid Friday. I said, my job said, let me take this and put it over here. Then I fell in love with tech because of the money that I make. I could do my own business with it. So if I want to do a dog farm or I want to do a dog sitting business, and that's what I'm really passionate about. For example, I'm going to use my tech money I'm making in tech to fund my dog business. So when I literally started looking at my job as my silent business partner, I was trying to find how many silent business partners I could have. That way I can fund myself and do what I want to do in my life. And tech, they ain't all in your face. They not bugging you all day, every day. It's real simple. It's real straight to the point. I mean, they tell you what they need. They check the assignment. That's it. But if my key takeaway from, anyone of color, or if you ain't of color, whoever on this call, look at it as your job is your silent business partner. I mean, I don't on the weekend, I don't sit and just code for fun. I do tech because it make money. It ain't my goal. It ain't no dream. It make money. It put bills. It pay my bills, and it make enough money for me to do my side passions. So that's the only reason why I started learning technology and getting into tech, because I wanted my job to be my solid business partner. You know how hard it is trying to get people to work together, but your job will work with you. So that's my main takeaway, man. Your job is your solid business partner, and the fact that Microsoft got all these tools together that's on everybody's computer, and all you got to do is click, plug in. That's why 6 figures is more realistic. Times have changed now. The stuff just not the same no more. And a lot of people are still trying to do everything physical. Meanwhile, you learn your tech skill, you pay forever. I mean, I would be tired of making ends meet. You know what I mean? 6 figures, you can live, you can do stuff, you can get your credit in order, you can do your passion, pay bills, get your credit in order, and live the life you want. Just having the skill set. And one thing is, they can fire you from your job, but you got the skill set, you can get another job in 3-4 weeks. So, and I want y'all to understand this with these layoffs. They named maybe 20 tech companies that's laying off 100,000. That is a lot of people, but that is only 20 companies. I want y'all to understand that it's only 20 companies when there's thousands of tech companies out here. Everybody don't have to be Microsoft level or Facebook level. Some companies only bring in $5 million a year, and they just need to pay someone 6 figures to do something simple. So just because companies are laying off, it's just the big companies are laying off. But that don't mean someone don't need you. If you look around you, tech is everywhere. Someone always will need a database to import information into.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, most people probably never heard of Deerdorf Communications. Most people probably never heard of Archwave. Most people never heard of Easy Care Appco. These are companies that paid me handsomely. Deerdorf Communications in Midtown was only 4 people. And that's including the owner founder. He had contracts and he was paying me, and I built out his whole ETL stuff. I built this whole thing from scratch. They didn't even know what that was. I came in there and built everything from scratch from him. I explained to the CEO what he needed. I showed him how I would do it, and I implemented it and built it out for him. Right? This dude swears by me. But guess what? It's only 4 people in the company. This dude's making millions. He's probably making 10, 12 million a year. He's a Caucasian gentleman, lives in Midtown, single, and he just living his life, man, doing his thing, and he's making money off of one country, but he doesn't know the tech piece of it. So he hired people. And a friend of mine who's a recruiter said, hey, I got just the contract for you guys, looking for somebody to come in and do some stuff. And I know he doesn't want to pay as much. Now, when he paid me, he still paid me $40. This was like around my 2nd year at IT. He gave me $40 an hour. For me, that was good money, though, because that was $1,600 every Friday direct deposit.
You were excited.
I was happy. I was like, man, I've been broke. I mean, $1,600. It took me a month to earn that when I was a produce manager. I was able to go in, get $1,600. Sometimes he'll let me work 50 hours, and I'll make $2,000 some weeks. And it was cool. It was a comfortable lifestyle. When I left that job, man, I had saved up like $12,000. And that's with me eating out and traveling and doing things, but I still was able to save a lot of money. This is the thing you guys want to look at is the income aspect. It's not just about, another thing, not everybody's an entrepreneur. Not everybody can run a business. Some of us are investors, right? With all these banks crashing right now, you might want to learn some skill set that'll allow you to make a sizable amount of income, because what's coming down the pipe in the next few years, I don't know if everybody's probably going to have the stomach for it. Hopefully I'm wrong, but if what we're saying, everybody's doom and gloom right now for the future, and you want to be out here making 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, I don't. You need to be making enough money so that if you need to, if somebody say, hey, you need $20,000, all right, give me 2 months. I remember when I left IT, when I left real estate, if I would go to the bank and try to do little things, they would tell me, you need 20, 30,000. Man, that seemed like $1 million. Like $30,000, man, that's a lot of money. I ain't got that. But in IT, man, you buckle down for about 4 or 5 months. You walk right in there with it in 4 months. Yeah, I'll be back in 4 months. Sometimes faster, depending on how much they want you to have. You want to do real estate, you need 30,000 down cash. That's why most deals now, people are saying they want 20% down, a lot of real estate deals. I used to think that was a lot of money, 10%. You can get it in that. That's nothing. In IT, man, you focus for about 5 months. You can get the money to go do a deal. Cash. Go in there, drop it. The bank will fund the rest. Right? You ain't got to look at IT like, oh, well, I'm going to do IT for the rest of my life and I'm going to be subservient. We got to stop thinking binary. It's like it's either hot or cold or true or false. Boolean, as they call it. Let that go. It's a means to an end. And I always say corporate America is a freak that you use. That's what I like to say.
The biggest thing I want a lot of you to take from this is getting your foot in the door. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't know if I leave my safe, secure job. No job is safe and secure. Again, listen to what subzero and some of this first couple contracts you get. You may be there for a few months, but that's perfect because now you know, okay, I like this. I don't like this. I want to add other skill sets to my arsenal. I want to switch over companies. I want to do this or that. This is the point of what I was trying to get the past 3 years for you guys to see in tech. I'm sitting here and eating dinner and lunches with people who, they're making 185 and they've been making it for 5 years. And they're like, well, it might be time for me to switch companies. And I'm thinking 185, you're doing great. But again, you're in a space where your skills are necessary and vital, right? There's companies here in Sub in Austin that are inside the WeWork and the Common Desk, and they bought half the building. And they got like 12 employees. And everybody in there's getting paid juicy. I was nosy on their Glassdoor information, right? So it's not always these companies. People think I'm going to go work for this Fortune 500 company. Man, Office Depot, we go by our gym. Office Depot made all their staff come back in the building, and parking lot was packed full. A lot of Office Depot stuff is working with schools, working with colleges, doing the online side of things. So a lot of the companies you guys think of, they're taking every company. That's why it's such a blanketed term that doesn't serve well, right? Home Depot, Lowe's, they have a whole website side of things. They got a whole cybersecurity side of things. They have a lot of different departments. And for people to kind of like brush off tech when really, in my opinion, when they're saying that they're going to have 2 million people lose their jobs, Jerome Powell knows it's going to be closer to 7 to 10% unemployment. But it doesn't always have to be African-American people being unemployed. You guys get the skills, get the jobs that need the skills. It's going to be medical. And every recession, depression is always the same. Who's got the medical skills, who's got the tech skills, who's building homes or can repair homes, and who are people that, plumbing, HVAC, there's just some skills that are vital. And those people are going to keep on eating, keep living good, keep going on vacation because they have skills people have to pay for. So it's just the reason I started these Tech Tuesdays. The reason I bring on these great guests is because I know how people hop in and out, right? hop in and out of tech jobs. Oh, I lost my job Thursday. Oh, how you doing? Oh, I got a new job Tuesday. It's crazy. I tell people this all the time. I keep meeting people. Oh, I got laid off. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I got another job. And so someone in the comments said he has a computer science degree, but he couldn't get a job. Your main person needs to come over here and talk, get a phone call with Subzero. It's in the chat. I put his phone number in the chat. Give that man a call and see what is it that he can help you do that you're not getting job offers.
You're already there. He's already halfway there if he already. So he's already he's going to be the guy that could probably easily matriculate into data science, which is what we're starting. And then I'm gonna give him the pieces he's missing, because just from the fact that he told me he can't get a job, I can already tell you 3 or 4 things I know he hasn't done, or he would have a job. So give me a call, because I've done thousands of consultations over the years, and I've talked to thousands of people. I've talked to people with MBAs. I've talked to people with all these different certifications from these community colleges. Won't say what kind, because I don't want to start a war. But there are a lot of different certifications that you can get that won't pay as much, that will get you $15, $20 an hour. We're trying to steer you away from that. Everything we teach at Lifting the Veil is $100,000 skill set or more. We don't want to teach $30, $25 skill sets. That's treading water to us. We don't want to tread water. We want to climb the mountain, right? And if you have a brother out here that has a degree in computer science and can't get a job, I know you know C#. You probably don't know .NET. You got a lot of skills, man, that you need that are needed just to get that job, just to get that degree. But see, these companies don't care about that. They care about experience. They care about how well you interview, and they care about, how you can benefit their organization. And quite frankly, most of the skill sets that these colleges and universities are offering are antiquated, outdated skill sets. I know my community. I mean, I went to Tuskegee. I love Tuskegee. They're great at getting you an internship while you're there. So I wouldn't dare put down the school. It's a top 5 HBCU in the country for a reason. That being said, they still teaching C++. And I'm not knocking C++. I did that before. I know there's a lot of good jobs you can get with that skill set, but that's a very old language. I mean, I think it's from the 50s or 60s. It's real old. And so if you want to get into a skill set that is right now, is very new, Azure's new, data science, all these Python, that's what we're teaching. We're going to do R scripting, because we're not just going to do the Microsoft DP100 certification. We're doing R scripting. We're going to teach you Python. We're going to teach you Tableau. These are separate skill sets from the actual DP100 certification. Oh, by the way, what you'll see also is Javon will be able to go through the actual the actual certification test. And because you've had projects, and because you sat there and listened to him go through blow by blow of the actual questions from Measure Up, which is which is what Microsoft advised you take their tests to pass. And I just did exactly what Microsoft said. I made a 98%, but of course I've got 15 years in the game, but I did that and I made a 98% out of 100. If you sit there and listen to Jovan go through all this, by the time you go and take that test, you'll be ready. You'll be ready. And you'll be able to really pass the test and get out there and do what you got to do. Look, you don't necessarily need the certification, truth be told. I'm making that the centerpiece, because I want you guys, instead of a lot of times interviewing with us, once you pass the certification test, that'll give you a lot of confidence. And in the industry, they consider a certification equivalent to 2 years experience. That's why when you do see people get jobs with certifications, that's why they do it.
So tell us some of the things that, are the top 10 questions people have for you. Go ahead, you and Javon, tackle them that you would have about data entry. I'm gonna mute myself for a few minutes. So
first question, and Javon, you might can jump in on this. First question is, how long does it take for me to become proficient to get a job? That depends on you. If you study, if you show up to class, which is Monday, class is going to be Mondays and Wednesdays. We're starting this Monday the 20th. It's going to be Monday at 8 p.m., Wednesday at 8 p.m., Saturday mornings at 11 a.m., right? Nobody wants to give up their Saturday and Friday nights, right? And so, but the time it will take you to become proficient is if you follow directions, if you spend at least, I advise you to at least do an hour a day. People that do that hour a day tend to, by the time they get through with the course after 3-4 months, they're halfway there. They're probably at least 65% there. Then you have study sessions, study groups. You become more focused. You spend 2-3 hours a day after we're over. I do once a week reviews or something like that. By the time you get through all that, about 5 to 6 months, you're okay. Now, if you're studying more than that, if you're putting in an hour, 2 hours a day, you should be able to get through about 2 weeks after the class is over. That's what I've seen. I've seen people 2 weeks after the class is over, they come interview, they know what they're talking about. But then there are people there, I can count the people that actually do that. Most people come with a lot of energy, like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm about to kill it. And then they get in there and they don't. I don't want you to be unrealistic. Look at this. I'm going to chew this one bite at a time. That's how you do it. You build, you don't say I'm going to build the biggest wall. You say I'm going to lay this brick as perfectly as I can lay a brick. And I'm going to lay this next brick as perfectly as I can lay it. Then you do that, next thing you know, you got a solid brick wall. That's what we're doing. That's how we're going to teach you. And by the time you get done, you'll look back and like, man, I understand what they're talking about. You'll go on these interviews and you'll listen to these interviews and you'll be like, I know exactly what they're talking about. I know every word, everything they said. I understood it. I know what they're talking about. And even if I didn't know the answer, I know how to get it. I know that's what we talk about, where to go. Where do you get these answers when you go on an interview and they ask you some crazy stuff? That's what you need, a guy that's been in here 15 years to tell you. And me and Jovan will tell you that. You got anything, Jovan?
Yeah, that's the main thing. If you don't, to me, the biggest key point is having somebody that has already been doing it 10, 15 years, because they remember the old way of how you had to go about it, getting the job. And the most key thing is someone helping you go through your resume and showing you how to do interviews and making you record your interview so they can tell you what you did right or wrong. That's the piece that you really need, because you can go out here and be Superman, but if you don't do the interview right, they don't even care if you're a genius. They'll look for someone else to do it the right way. So it's mainly about how to prepare yourself and how to market yourself so that way they just choose you instantly. And so that's like, for me, the biggest takeaway, having somebody you can ask questions and share your interview process with, like, hey, this is what they said on my interview. And we make you record it. We make you bring it back to the classroom session so we can hear what you're saying. We can hear what you're doing and see. And then you got to track your results and see.
Have you ever seen, and I'm not trying to say this to brag, but have you ever seen anywhere that'll do that?
No, I ain't never seen that.
Like, nobody does that, man. That's how you look. Like I said, we don't play fair. You need that. African-American students need to be able to come into a situation or environment and get the nurturing that they don't ever get from anywhere else. You can't just go and learn the training. I don't say you can't, but if you don't have any tech background whatsoever, some boot camp takes $3,000-$4,000 from you. They cram everything in 2 weeks at 4 and 5 hour, 6 hour lectures. You fell asleep after the first hour, right? Then you go after that, and now you're supposed to go and get a job? No. Usually what you need is time and exposure and projects and hands-on. Then you need somebody that's been there that you can call and say, hey, I got on this interview and I got blew out of the water. I'm probably not going to get it, but I recorded it. Can you help me? Yeah, let's take a few minutes and listen to it. I can't get that anywhere. There's nowhere that does that. We do that. And I really think that's the key to success, because I've had students that get jobs and then they call me after the fact. Like, I remember this one guy was on his first day of work. And I never forgot this. He called me. He was scared. He's like, man, I'm scared, sub. I don't know what they got a meeting in a scrum meeting. I said, okay, let me explain something to you. Do you understand when you open up the database what you're looking at? Well, I don't understand. I said, hold on. I understand that. You don't understand what the logic is, but do you know the constructs of the language? And he looked, he's like, yeah, I understand all the constructs of what they're trying to do. I just don't know the logic piece. I'm like, man, it's your first day. These people are not going to just throw you to the wolves. Every once in a while, somebody will get thrown to the wolves. It happens. But for the most part, most good hiring managers are not going to turn somebody loose in $1 billion database. They're going to sit you down, they're going to feed you with little small things, and they know what you know because you said it on your resume, and everything you put on your resume, you understood, right? Yep. Everything. I told them, I said, everything that you interviewed for, you understood, right? Yep. So why would they give you something way out of left field that you don't understand, that you never said on your resume, that they never asked you about? So you don't really need to be afraid. You just need to trust the work that you've already done. And the brother, he's like, hey, man, you mind, we said a little prayer. The brother came out of the meeting and said, man, it wasn't that bad. They just introduced me and this and then. He called me back a couple of weeks later. Hey, man, I've been working. I'm starting to knock out some tickets. He had me to call. I didn't have anybody. I mean, I had my brother, but my brother, he's different. He has a different mentality, different understanding. He's not a teacher per se. Not like that. You know what I'm saying? He is now, he taught at my academy, but that's not his natural disposition. He'll just go read a book. Like, well, I'm not like you, bro. I'm not, my brother's a genius, certifiable genius. I'm not. So I couldn't read a book, and I needed somebody to help me. I needed somebody to hold my hand, at least on my first learning of my first skill set. I needed to be coddled, so to speak. That's what we do at Lifting the Veil. I've had people come to me that don't even know what a folder is. If I say, open up this folder, what's a folder? Literally. And we build people up from there. We start there with the truck drivers and the people that work in factories. And those are the people we deal with. That's who we deal with, because those are the people that got the short end of the stick for whatever reason. Maybe they got the short end of the stick because of their own choices that they made, or they got the short end of the stick because their parents didn't know how to put them in situations and environments where they could be successful academically to be able to compete, right? But I want you guys to understand, man, I've been here doing this for a while, and I'm telling you, that's one of the main things that we do is get you past all that. Another thing I think that students tend to ask a lot of times when I do consultations is how much money am I going to make? And I'll let and like I said, my opinion, our students make anywhere from 90 on average up to like a 110. That's usually the first job, 90 to 110.
Yeah,
right. That's the cushion, right? Every once in a while, somebody gets 75. I tell my students, take whatever you can get, because once you work 6 months in a company, you can leave and go make 125. It doesn't matter. You just need to get a job, work, get some experience, get some real world experience, not just what we teach, but go into a company, work, do scrum meetings, take tickets out of Jira, work, get your hands dirty. Once you do that, you can leave. And I do it all the time. I bounce around all the time. I got one company I've been with for about 4 years now. But other than that, anytime I get second job, I just bounce around and get 2 or 3 jobs. I do it when I really need some money. If I need to scrounge up a quick $30,000 in the next couple of months, man, let me get a second job. I'm gonna just put this money. I got an account way in another city in a bank, and I don't have a debit card, or I don't have anything that will allow me to get. It's a savings account. All the money goes to that savings account. I never touch it. That's how you save money. The Chinese call it eating bitter. You gotta, if you want to do, we as Black people, we like speed. We're built for speed. We love speed. We don't want to save up $30,000 in 2 years. Black people want to save it up in 3 months, 4 months. That's how you want to save up your money.
We want it in 30 days. How can I get it in 30 days, Eric? I'll be like, if you don't get off my phone.
That's what I'm saying. 30 days, they want, how can I get it? How can I'm like, okay, now IT, I don't know about no 30 days. Now that's a little bit. Well, if you get 3 jobs, you might could, but you're going to have to still be living on saving every dime. But still, guys, you don't have to do it that fast. But what I'm saying is we like speed. We're fast. We don't like slow stuff, man. We want to be fast, but we want to be comfortable at the same time. You need to make a sizable income to be able to do that, to where you can live one with 60, 70,000 and bank the other 30 after taxes, the other 40. You can bank it, 50,000. You can bank that money. You want to get another job, you do that. You bank that whole job. That's what I do when I get side jobs. I bank the whole check. Why? Because that that puts me, I can move real fast. That's why I just said a few minutes ago, somebody tell me, hey man, you need 30,000 for a deal. Here you go. You need 40. Here you go. And a lot of times I'll be doing stuff and I'll be like, man, can you wait till I get paid? Even though I got the money in my savings, I don't touch it. That's what puts you in this, but it's fast because I'm getting a sizable check and I'm just sitting it. There's somebody paying me $2,400 after taxes. They dropping it in an account every Friday and I'm not touching it for 7 months. That's how you do it. That's how you put yourself in a position to go to, after you work in IT for 2 years, 3 years, you can quit. When you get enough money, you say, hey man, I bought this apartment complex. I invested in this business over here. I have this, I have that. I was able to diversify. You don't have student loans because you're making what doctors make, but you're not going to medical school. You come in and lifting the veil for 3 or 4 months. Another question we get asked is how much is it? It's $297 a month. That's all I charge.
Yeah. Javon, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Javon, how many years have you been in data science, to clarify? How many years have you been?
I have been, let's see. I have been, okay, so the funny thing was I started in high school like around 2006, but I didn't really, I'll say maybe about like 10, 12 years, but I didn't really start really taking it serious until maybe 2015. And that was because it kept getting thrown in my face, and I was, I was real heavy in commercial real estate at the time, so I had the time to do it. But I'll say about a good, 10 years just all together. But really, to be honest with you, it took me so long to take it serious. I felt like I only got 5 years of experience. But yeah, about 10 years.
And over those years, the industry itself, do you feel like it's going faster? You're learning more, you're getting more certs? Is there anything particular you feel like it's changed in a way?
I feel that I will say I'm thankful to these companies like Microsoft, Google, and Apple, because they made my job easier. They came up with all these different tools, that are real simple to use. So to me, it's like a lot of the people back in the day did all the hard work so that we could walk, run, and play. And so I remember like in 2015, it was nowhere near this easy. I mean, it was kind of, easier, but it was nowhere near as easy as it is now. And so I think now I'll say it like this. Back in the day, when the oil and sugar business started, we couldn't, we weren't old enough to participate. So we live in the time and age of where you're into data science, like as if, oil first came out. So this is like the AI tech industry when, this technology is only like 3-4 years old as far as the new technology that's out. The data science has been around forever. So it's like you have a chance to get into learn a skill set that, otherwise you have to get a college degree. And you're basically getting to be in these industries year 1, 2, and 3. And so, 20, 30 years down the line, you can look back and say, man, yeah, I remember when I was, in the data heavily, I worked for this company, that company. And that's how you get ahead. And I think for all of us, this is our only ticket to economic freedom. They have a lot of these courses, do this, 30 days, you get this money. And they may work, some of that stuff may work, but nothing beats a genuine, everybody needs technology. Nothing beats a genuine technical skill set that jobs need you to do stuff for. And like I said, I never was really big on jobs. I was, getting it out the mud mindset. Ain't nobody finna be telling me what to do. I'm finna make my own money. But it's like after 2015, man, I really saw my job as my silent business partner. I mean, as I said before, because for example, you get your paycheck. You may make, starting out, you 80, 90,000. That's like what, not 7,000-9,000 a month. I mean, like, $7,000-9,000 a month, your expenses low. I mean, you got you a few $1,000s extra at the end of the month to go try some stuff. So that's what made it more, because if you got a side idea, you know how hard it is to use the money that you're making now for your side idea. And you could barely do your side idea because your job ain't paying you. And so the minute rent go up $100, you can't breathe. Y'all might want to live like that. You know, I mean, you don't want to live like that if you don't have to. That why you think a person from, and long story short, my family been in the gas station business, so I grew up with Indians and Asians my whole life. Them people literally will be broke. Broke meaning they broker than black people broke. Black folks, you know, when we broke. But them Indians, when they broke, they like really, really broke. Like no soap, no nothing. And they'll get a job over here in the United States getting paid, you know, over $100,000. And they broke. I had a friend from Bangladesh, him and his mom slept in tents. So I know, you know, black community, we always talking about getting it out the mud. Man, we on government assistance. That ain't really no struggle. Real struggle is them foreigners, you know, they sleeping on that real outside floor. Like I said, my friend in Bangladesh, literally sleeping outside on the desert floor. I don't know nobody in the black community that's struggling like that. They ain't got no government assistance over there. They got nothing. Literally, it's nothing. So it gave me a whole different level of appreciating America and the stuff you can do in America. Yeah, I know everybody talk about racism and all that, but I don't know anywhere on the planet, anywhere, I don't care how racist America is, I don't know anywhere on the planet you can go to and do what you want to do and make money doing what you want to do. I don't know nowhere else. Every other country is you ain't got that freedom. That's why they come over here. And you got to think about it. Jobs are literally pay $20,000 for their visa, go through all this H-1B1 visa program, to bring them over here, house them, put them in, you know, play that's why they stay in. If you from Atlanta or Georgia, that's why they have those Asian communities. They get them a job, they make them go through the consulate general that place them in their own community. That's the only reason why they have a leg up on us. The only reason why we don't have a leg up on us is obviously for obviously reasons. But these people are in worse conditions than we are. I'm gonna be honest with you. They're in way worse conditions. And literally, if a job would just, you know, they got to pay $20,000 plus housing them, they come over here. And then the foreigner, he just stay for 3 months and then go to Google or go work for someone else. Companies are paying way too much money to go overseas when you can just know the basics. They hire you. That's the shortcut. They don't want to pay $20,000 plus housing fees and food stipends monthly plus paying them 6 figures. They got to pay them 6 figures plus housing them. With you, they just only got to pay you 6 figures. So you got to go figure that. That's why the opportunity is for you, because the companies are saving money hiring you. Yeah, you getting 6 figures, but can you imagine having to hire somebody for 6 figures, pay $20,000 on top of the 6 figures, and give them a monthly stipend of $4,000 a month for them to live, plus paying them 6 figures? That's you know, $4,000 a month times 12. That's already $48,000 right there, plus 20,000. That's $60,000 on top of 6 figures. But if they hire you, they ain't got to pay the $60,000 in fees and housing fees and all that. So that's just only the benefit of.
And there are people over, and let me answer a question. There was a question a second ago. And shout out to Ant. What's up, Ant? Let me say this, guys. The class is only 2 hours. It's 2 hours, 2 hours it's 2 hours Monday, 2 hours Wednesday, and then an hour on Saturday morning. Because everybody wants their Saturday, right? We'll just give you an hour Saturday, and that's it. So it's 5 hours a week. That's it. Of actual lecture time, covering new material and things like that, doing labs and stuff like that. It's going to be about just plan for 5 months, starting from now. Now, as far as the visa thing, man, I'm gonna tell you, man, like these companies are still willing to pay that money to have somebody fly. Think about it, guys. You're American. You know the language. You know the culture. Yes, you may talk about racism, white supremacy, but you are clouded by who you listen to a lot of times, who you let soak into your mind what's possible and what's not, right? And we actually deal with that at Lifting the Veil, because the first week we always like to talk about what are the sabotaging ideas that you have in your mind. And I have people, you know, my boy Sean, he had some people just type it in the chat, and they were like, you know, my dad told me, you know, these white folks ain't gonna ever let you work in there. They'll never look at you like you smart. They'll never look at you. And it's like, well, who told you that, man? I've been working in IT for 15 years. Let me tell you something. These people do not care. Show up, close your tickets out, do your job. That's it. No one cares. Are you going to run into assholes? Yes, you will. But for the most part, look, man, I could probably say 85% of my jobs have been laid. Don't nobody say nothing to me. The only time if I got let go is because I was screwing up a lot of times. Or, you know, even when I didn't get let go, maybe the project would end. They'll work you 6-7 months. These people, even when they don't think you're doing a good job, they'll let you stay for 6 months sometimes. Be like, hey, the contract didn't work out. I just want to let you know this will be your last 3 weeks, and 3 weeks is going to be your last day. So you know already, okay, I need to slack up on XYZ because I know in 3 weeks I ain't going to have no job. I'm going to be looking for another job. That's one thing. Secondly, you get the job in under a month usually. If you're seriously looking, if the day from the day you seriously look, because see, I'm going to tell you the truth. If I get let go of a job, I'll probably take 2 months. I ain't gonna do nothing. We probably going to the beach because I got money in the bank. I'm not stressing. I'm not worried. That's why I'm so calm. That's why I can talk like I can go in the job and say F everybody and walk out. And I know I got enough money to pay my bills for 6 months if I have to. Right? That's freedom. That's free. It's not necessarily owning a business and being a multimillionaire, which obviously that's what we all trying to strive. Most of us, that's what I'm trying to strive to. Right. But at the same time, you know, you can go in and you can say, hey, I've saved up enough money. They don't know this, but I had 2 jobs. I saved up. I had $40,000 over here in an account, saving in a savings account. I'm working. I'm planning to make a move on a real estate deal, whatever. We about to do X, Y, and Z. We doing a rehab or we doing whatever. I'm jumping on one of Ericka deals, however that works, right? But when it's all said and done, you got everything you need. You know what I'm saying? And I want to thank Ericka. First, I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to come up here. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I always enjoy coming up here. And I know we only said we was going to be here an hour, so we're going to try to wind it down. But look, guys.
You're excited. You're excited about the opportunity to help people. You're excited about the opportunity. Again, like you keep bringing on teacher after teacher that is amazing. Again, shout out to Millspin. She said this information is platinum. Shout out to Journey to Jasmine for the $20 super chat. Can't thank Ericka enough for the knowledge and knowledgeable people you brought to us. My life has changed drastically by listening and getting to tech, starting with subclass on money to go even higher. You're a gem. Thank you. Shout out.
Thank you.
Screenshot of that and send it to me. Go ahead, Sub.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, just thanks for letting us come on here. I really appreciate the opportunity to come on here, guys. Jovan is a real blessing, man. He's been a blessing. Me and him been talking almost every day about different stuff. He's been working real hard. We're gonna have documents we're gonna have for you. We working that. If you go to the website, you can click schedule consultation. I'll give you a free 15-minute consultation. If I don't call you, it's because I do work during the day. And if I am getting pulled in a meeting or something, you call me. The number is 678-627-2796. I guarantee you I'm going to call you right back. Or more than likely, I'm going to probably answer the phone. You can call tonight. As soon as this is over, after you hear it, give me a call up until midnight. You know, I take late calls. Let me explain something. The way I started this and the way I built this business was I knew I couldn't compete with the big guys, but I was Black. And I knew nobody's thinking about helping Black people. That's number one. Number two, I also knew, look, I have time. I'm not, I have things I could be doing, but I'm literally sitting around watching TV after I leave the gym or something. I might go to the gym again later, might go get in the sauna or something later tonight. But depending on what I want to do later, I'm a night owl. I'm up late. And I felt like, you know what, let me make my time available. When I first started, I used to teach to almost 1 o'clock in the morning sometimes. I wouldn't do that again. I stopped doing that. But I used to go to I would go 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock sometimes straight. I would never do that again. You know what I'm saying? But I did that when I first started. I would be on the phone with people giving consultations and doing 30, 45-minute conversations about tech and like, I'll do that. You know what I'm saying? Because what happens is I learned a lot from talking to different people from different aspects of life. And it puts me in a space to really be better to help people because I understand what they're going through. And I know what people are going through. I know the economic struggles that our people are having. And I think I have the answer. So if you give me a call, if you struggling, you hurting right now, you don't know where your next meal coming from sometime, you struggling, you can't pay your bills, give me a call, man. Give me a call.
Man, listen, you guys, I'm telling you, out of all my guests, I get so many emails, so many messages about Sub. Y'all be harassing me left and right to bring him on the channel. He is here. And again, said, would you mind posting the website for those who are late? Yes, we can do that. I love when you bring Sub on. Appreciate you, hun. Thank you. I had 3 consultations with Sub. They were all awesome. He really looks out. y'all, let me tell you something. And this is to service to anybody I bring on. The more people you help push up, right? Or you bring them up to where you are, or you help bring them up a level, you help coach them, mentor them. I will never be broke because I always have somebody to reach out to. I got over 12,000 students to reach out to and be like, hey, what's up? You know what I mean? In whatever capacity that I can give value to. And I don't think y'all understand that the more people you reach, you help, man, it's a cyclical thing. When you get in a jet stream of people that are moving and going somewhere, that's why these people that are in tech, when they lose a job, they get another job. If you're doing your job and your person beside you in the cubicle or in the office beside you sees you're a good worker and you have a value, somebody's always going to be calling your phone. Somebody's always going to be calling your phone, people. Okay, so I want you to understand that that's the power of movement, that's the power of value, that's the power of helping each other. And again, you know, each one teach one, but we don't always do that. So close us out. Javon, thank you so much. Nice meeting you. Thank you for
Nice to
coming
meet you
through.
guys as well.
All right. Yeah.
Got
Hey,
love.
once again, thank you. I appreciate it. God bless everybody, man. Look, I prayed about this right before I got on. Somebody else, but I prayed about this before we got up here. Just hopefully today, people, God will let me speak to that person that's trying to make they thinking you've been talking to yourself. God, what do I do? How do I make it? Give me a call. It's free. It ain't gonna cost you nothing to talk, man. Give me a call. Let's talk. I'm here. I'm gonna make my time available. I always tell my students, first day of class, I always say, hey, we're gonna give you our hearts and soul. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go all out. I'm an old country boy from Alabama. I'm humble. I'm not uppity. I don't think I'm super smart or anything like that. In fact, I think I'm I'm not even the best developer, right? I tell my students all the time, a lot of my students are better than me already. So it is what it is, man. Give me a call. We can make it happen.
All right, you guys. This is your girl Ericka from the Classy Climb blog. You know I always have Tech Tuesdays. Been doing it for about 3 years. We try to provide you guys great value. If there's more guests want to come on Tech Tuesday before we go on our little mini vacation again, yes, I got another one planned. We will do that. Listen, blessings to all of you. I got one more live tonight talking about Mint Mobile, but you guys got to make more income to even get in the game. So it's either credit, it's skills, it's jobs, it's somewhere in this equation. If you're on the Classy Climb, we're talking about money. We're talking about how to make more money and how to enjoy your life. So thank you so much, Seth, for being here. And see you soon, you guys. You also should get an email if you're on the email list of this video and the links to click, lifting the veil, call Sub. It's a free number, a free call. Text them. Thank you so much, Sub. Thank you, Javon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you guys have a great night.
All right. Thanks, Eric.